Yeah, it's just going to be. Oh, it's not bad. It's not bad. That'll work. So random people jump on, but we'll have a video here.
YouTube live?
Yeah, we were out here at.
Are we live right now?
Yeah, we're on. It's working.
People, can you see comments and stuff? See that corner over there? You got comments, right?
Yep, sure do. Live chat is active. There
I'm
is
gonna try to see real quick.
Currently one. This is more so just that it can exist on YouTube. People will be able to watch it whenever they want as we get rolling here. And we'll see how that goes. Hopefully everybody can hear us okay.
Oh.
I got a lot of things happening all at once.
It would help if I connected to the internet.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's cool. Where's Dom?
Over there.
You ready? Yeah, so this setup is way better than what we were rocking before.
Yeah, it looks
I mean, we brought
looks a little different than the passing of the mic.
Dude, we brought a
Hey,
professional.
man, it was like a bad batch.
We brought a professional radio studio. Basically, you can do an entire radio station from
You
this
could do this.
board.
You could do the ESPN show and throw it on the radio.
Yeah,
with
Yeah.
this.
Nice.
All right, so
When did you guys get this?
when?
The 2 days after.
Yeah,
days,
after we
yeah.
recorded with you and the audio was jacked, I was like, screw
I
this.
think we
We're-
ordered it on Amazon at night.
Yeah, we
It
did.
showed up.
Nice.
I was like, we got to upgrade. What we're rocking isn't going to work. I can't put the sound out there, so we went and got this and these microphones, and I was like,
Awesome.
we need something better.
Well, it looks good, fellas.
Sounds good too, which is
How have you guys
important.
been?
Good, man. How have you been?
You know,
It's a
Doing all
beautiful
right.
day here at False Idol.
it is a beautiful day. Doing all right. You know.
False Idol
2020.
Brewing. For those of you joining us on YouTube, just a spontaneous. This will be on the podcast. It'll drop tomorrow for those of you that are watching, as we are sitting down with the owners of False Idol Brewing. Well, one of them anyway.
For now.
I don't know where Dom is,
Don't.
but Brandon's with us. Oh no, you guys are going to whiskey this thing. You guys are naughty. We're going to end up getting as weird as it did last time.
I don't know.
But we'll get rolling here. Yeah, I'll do a water. Yeah, thanks. Before we get rolling here. So yeah, and of course, we'll be out at Oak Islands Brewery tomorrow. For those of you watching YouTube Live, we'll do a show there. But we're at False Idol Brewing today in North Richland Hills. What is this? Boulevard 26, right?
26, right off
Yeah.
820 and 26. So right catty corner of Northeast Mall.
Yeah, super easy to get to, actually. Like for me, I live over in the Irving area, like off 183, and I can get here. If I take the express, I can get here in 15 minutes. If I don't take the express, depending on the time of day.
Yeah. It
Thanks,
can
man.
change always in Texas with the traffic getting worse and worse, it seems.
All right, so here we go as we continue on this version of the podcast, and we are out here as we do every Thursday at a local craft brewery. We are at False Idol Brewing. We were just talking about this. It's off Boulevard 26, off of 183 and 820 here in North Richland Hills, and we are with the founders, the owners, the geniuses that prompted this entire thing, Dom and Brandon, sitting down with us. Hi, guys.
What's up, folks?
What up?
What's
It's
going
great.
on?
Is this good?
Yeah, it's fine. You sound great.
Okay.
All right, let's dive into this right away. I've had the peanut butter and jelly beer.
Ooh.
I got to tell you, I was a little apprehensive just because it's peanut butter and jelly. But the impressive thing about this is I'm curious. It tastes like peanut butter and jelly.
Is that why it's called peanut butter and jelly?
But I thought I really thought I'd get a much more of a peanut butter taste.
Right.
How you get them both in there?
So he used raspberry puree and he did a couple of brewer's secrets to kind of get that like really kind of almost
it's
like silky
really
like
peanut
a
butter sandwich.
texture on there, and so it wasn't like too crazy as we had a
Right.
butterfly flying in to say hello.
You know, I enjoy all these different kinds of beers. Whose idea was it to come up with a peanut butter beer?
I think it was Will's.
For that one,
least this one.
that one's Will.
All right, now when he brings, how's that work? He just goes, "Hey, I want a peanut butter beer," and y'all go, "Cool," or you go, "Well, let's talk about this for a second, bro."
Well, that one's a tap room variant, so there's only one keg. So we tend to let him have some creative license on some things, and everything. A lot of other things are conversations between us, and whether it's Dom and him, the three of us, myself and Will, there are conversations that happen to, what's our board looking like? Are we missing something, from our tap wall? What do we need to plan out? Different things like this. So there are all kinds of different conversations, or, do we need to have a tap room variant, or we need to plan an event? Do we need to start lining up some things? So it especially changes now that we're in a rhythm, we're able to have more taps filled. Now then we can start essentially adding to our kind of quote cellar of like different things to play with later on, and one-offs and different things like that.
How many taps should there be in a base?
How many taps should there be in a place?
In a base, like, our base, most tap rooms have like 5 or 8 of
I would say your average is probably like 10 to around 10.
Yeah, and it's weird too because some breweries are different to me, because some breweries will have, God, you go to like Avery in Colorado and they've got like 40 taps or something like that. It's insane.
From their own stuff?
Yeah, oh yeah. But they have all kinds of different barrels they can brew on. Some places you walk, I was at a place last night that had 24 taps. I was like, this place does not need to have 24 taps. Like, there's no,
because they can't brew 24 good ones.
Well, no, because it wasn't a brewery. It was a place that it was a restaurant bar that had 24 taps. But here's what happens, right? So you have 24 taps. You're not turning all of them super quick. So people are going to come in and drink probably 12 of them, and they'll turn those. And then what happens? So the beer sits on the other 12 taps over time.
So that's stale beer.
Well, yeah. And then you either got to discount it so you can actually move it, or you sit on it. The beer can expire depending on what it is. You never know what the place could be. But like in a brewery, I think it's badass that you guys have as many taps as you do. I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
Like right now, we have a couple of taken up by a cider, wine.
I saw that.
Seltzer. No,
is that just for somebody like I used to be, who was not a beer drinker? You come in and you got something too,
right? Yeah, it's to remove any vetoes. It's so your plus ones, and you're like, no, I'm not going there. They don't have anything I can drink. So those are like against the veto votes.
Yeah, there you go. And Side Boob's Trinity, right?
Side Boobs.
Yeah. Side Boob's Trinity.
Yeah, Trinity Cider down in Deep Ellum does Side Boobs. The name of the cider, that particular flavor, is Side Boob.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, it's good, man. Trinity is good stuff. I'm not a big cider fan, but of the ciders in the area, Trinity to me is my favorite cidery.
Yeah, they're bringing a blackberry one next, called Miso Thorny. So
they have some good names, dude. Yeah. So JaM session, for those watching and those listening, the JaM session is still on. So you guys need to come and drink that. I'll probably have one before we leave.
Yeah, I heard that was your hot
here, so I don't know.
No, it did really well. Sold out in cans pretty quick, and like you said, since we do have a lot of taps, while things can move, there's fluctuations in how this business goes right now. But no, it's doing well. It's
So you guys
won't be here much longer.
So you were talking about the process of the peanut butter and jelly beer. Do you guys ever have one where, whether it's one of y'all or Will or somebody's coming in, like of the brain trust or whatever of the brewery, where you say, hey, let's brew this, and one of you's like, I don't think so. I don't know if that's going to work, and it gets shot down. Or is it just, hey, let's try it and see?
I don't think we ran into that yet. It's more of like when it's done and then we all try it and we're like, we have our opinion on it.
Yeah.
I think it's like, I think we've all had our one that we're like, I don't like this beer. It's my least favorite beer we've ever done. And then we look at the ratings or like the numbers on it and we're like, people like it. So it's, I think it helps that we have 3 heads and also we listen to our consumers.
Do you ever have one that all 3 of you guys, like when you're doing that, are you brewing on a pilot system? Or are you just brewing it like to brew it? So you'll if you guys, you brew something on the main tanks. Right. And it brews and you put it out there. If you all 3 try it, you just dump it if you don't like it?
No, more tweak.
All right.
Make it
make it something.
Yeah.
I got you.
So like with our Berliner, we do a base, and so when we do a big batch, before we do like the big batch of fruit, we can pull off kegs, and basically that's how we get the variants on.
Yeah, okay. Right.
So a caveat to that. Now, if it was like off flavors, it was made poorly or like it somehow got infected or something, that's a different story.
Right. Yeah.
That goes down the drain.
Right. Yeah.
No, if it's just like all our own personal like tastes, it's.
But yeah, it's not flawed. I was talking about that, not
okay.
flaws. Like flaws is a completely different realm of beer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, like, if you ever have like a style or something where one of you guys is, I mean, it could be something like weird as whatever, like I don't know, like a Scotch ale or something that you don't see a lot of, whatever it is. Like there's so many random styles that are out there, where you're like, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to work. And you get in a fight and you argue and you wrestle or whatever.
Well, if anyone's expecting a Scotch ale to fly off the wall, then they need a lesson in what sells. Yeah.
No, I think we kind of every so often when we're talking about production schedule, it's more of like because we know like hazies that make our money, and I know it's probably a little tiring. You're making the same beer, and you're not actually getting to go back to make another beer again a second time. So you're just making new beers all the time. So I know it's a little probably restless for Will, and so sometimes I'll just be like, "What do you want to make? What have you not made yet that you want to make?" And a lot of times, I think he's smart enough to know like he'll be like, "Well, I want to do this, but maybe we should just do this instead." Because he'll be like, we've been listening to feedback, and he's like, people have been asking for ambers or porters or brown ales actually.
Really?
And we're like, we're not going to make those. So we come to a happy medium. So we actually have a Vienna Lager coming out, and that's kind of like the middle of the road. So,
and it'll be really good.
Yeah, his lagers have been awesome. They've been getting better and better every time. So
yeah, I was gonna say a brown ale, like that's the one style to me, like brown ale, like even Kolsch, like brown ale is up there with Kolsch to me. At least brown ale, in my estimation, has a little bit more flavor just naturally out of the brew of it. Like you're not feeling like, oh, great, a Kolsch, how exciting, and then you got to load it with whatever to actually make it where I want to drink it. Kolsch to me
on brown ale.
What's the deal?
Yeah, it's not in my wheelhouse. So what is that?
Whose wheelhouse is it in?
People from Europe,
people who drink Newcastle.
I was going to say, like,
so I ain't
people from
where's
the Tommy Knocker that does that good brown that's in the middle of nowhere in Colorado? Idaho Springs. Yeah,
I think they closed.
So
I wonder why.
Too many brown ales.
All right, picture the thinnest stout that you've ever had, and cross it with a shiner, and that's in the realm of what a brown ale is.
I mean, there's
as far as flavor profile,
like Moose Drool from Big Sky.
So it's all kind of weak.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of this and nothing.
It's like a sessionable malt beer.
It's like really malty and nutty.
It's in limbo, so it's
that's what I mean.
It's in limbo. It's a dark beer in limbo.
Yeah.
It's a dark beer in limbo.
I like Moose Drool. Big Sky out of Montana does one called Moose Drool, which is pretty good.
Pulled out of market because no one bought their beer.
See, and that's because nobody wants a brown ale.
Yeah.
See, and I get it, like the whole thing about like, you could get bored brewing hazies, and I think that's smart. You guys do that where you go to the brewer and say, hey, you have a brain, you have creativity. What do you want to brew that keeps you interested in this? But because to understand, that the idea of because a lot of brewers have to realize like we have to produce beer people buy. Like we're trying to make a profit here,
Right.
But at the same time, the people that run the brewery have to have the understanding of we can't burn our brewer out. Be like, no, you can't make creative stuff.
Yeah.
Stick to this. And then 6 months later, like,
make me another lager.
I'm going somewhere else.
Right. I mean, that's a reason for two tanks right behind you. So those are his like pet projects. Like Will loves saisons, like loves bread stuff. It's a brewer thing, man. It's a brewer thing.
Saison.
And so like he loves like Brett beer and all that kind of stuff. So and done well, they can be really good. They're just not volume drivers, and they're things to play with and different things. But that's what those two tanks behind you are for, so that he can do some creative things and things that we like. Dom and I know how to make sure it gets into a good like marketing sort of like place as far as what's approachable and what's sought after and that sort of vein. But it also allows him to kind of have a creative license on even more so on those. Which
I think is key. Like you need that in the brewing world because not as we know, not a lot of breweries are doing that. And since some breweries you see a ton of brewer turnover because of things like that, which is interesting. So I know we've talked about this before, but we didn't get a chance. We had some technical difficulties last time we sat down with you guys. So I kind of want to get into the origin story again.
You pushed delete.
Yeah, technically it was my fault, but we upgraded and we're good. Although I will say is that instance taught, like, we invested. I mean, you guys can see the equipment that we're using on YouTube here. You know, we upgraded to make sure things sound the way we want them to sound. It's easy. I mean, it takes a while to set this stuff up, but it's plug and play once you get going, you know, and it sounds great. That's why I'm wearing these headphones, because my voice sounds incredible on this microphone.
hey, watch out over there.
Right. But so how do you get into, because you guys, when I met y'all, you were working for Full Clip, which is a craft beer distributor here in the DFW area. So at what point does the seed begin to get planted of, okay, let's start actually seriously consider a brewery and start this dream?
For me, I always wanted to do something on my own. I never knew what exactly. And I think that was the same for him. And for me, my original idea was, it was always going to be me and my dad doing something. And it was a growler bar originally. And we looked at a spot, and like we talked to like a leasing manager, and we went through all the business stuff, and we kind of like looked at ourselves and we're like, I don't think we're ready to do this. This was like 2016. We're like, we don't know anything.
Just the investment part. Like, we don't want to invest
more
this
of
much
the
money
information, like the little loopholes, the little tricks of the trade, like and kind of that's where he kind of, like, when we joined as a team, it answered some of the questions we didn't know, and then kind of mixed well, because his dad was a broker. He helped with getting the property figured out, and like, because the one thing that stopped us in the growler bar is they told us that the property wasn't right for our use, even though it was. But now I know that now. I didn't know that then.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, we kind of got restless. We were tired of working for people, and you don't get anything.
Happens.
You don't get everything that you put into the work. Back. And now we do. We sat down, had dinner with us, and we're just like, we got to do something. And originally it was called, what was the brewery? Where do you live?
Alliance Brew Pub.
Yeah, Alliance Brew Pub was the original name.
Really?
It was going to be very vanilla.
Was it going to be in Alliance?
But it was going to be in Alliance. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
so we went back to the drawing board. That was probably like 2017.
17.
So, and then 2018 April, I was like, all right, we kind of, it was 6 months past. We're just sitting there like, well, I guess it's going to happen or it's not. And then I was like, I'm just going to get on this. Like we started moving, putting the branding together, stuck with False Idol. Kind of the name came from beer being a false idol for beer nerds, essentially, not having their priorities in order, essentially. And so we ran with that. We both agreed, no anti-Christian stuff, not like Three Floyds or anything. So we've stuck with that so far.
I mean, they go way out there sometimes.
Yeah. Don't turn off the Christians, man.
So that's pretty much where the journey started. 2018, branding, glassware, shirts, just getting the feet on the ground and making like, hey, we're starting a brewery. We don't know where, but we're starting a brewery, and people were kind of getting excited because we've been in the industry long enough where people kind of, I think we knew enough about the industry that we would make the right decisions. And so there was an excitement for our brand.
That's true. Because I remember when you guys first started putting it out, and it was like, okay, well, when's this going to happen? You know, like you kept hearing about it. And I thought that was interesting because you guys had stuff like shirts and like the branding materials well before any beer ever came out.
Mm-hmm.
How come?
Yeah.
Well, I don't brew and he doesn't brew. We both have tried. If we were giving out our own beer, everyone would have said, I'm done with them.
But that's the point. Like, I mean, I think some of the smartest people in the world are not necessarily the smartest people in the world, but they're the smartest because they surround themselves with smarter people in certain sections of what they do. So have your guy be the best X, have your guy be the best A, have another guy be the best C that he can be. And so, delegate and conquer. And so neither one of us were going to make or have spent the time to learn and to be one of the best brewers in the world. So we're not going to play that way. We don't want to have just like a brewery that, you open up and come visit us because we're right here. It doesn't it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's not, 2010 anymore. You have to have great beer. You have to have great marketing. You have to have great people. If somebody, isn't good people, then like, why are you going to come back? So we're some rude staff, you're going to come back for, people come back for bad beer
at a good spot
at a friendly place.
Y'all do it
way better before, way before they'll come back to great people, so it's
smart, man.
It all works together. And so there are so many things that are involved, and, like we were just talking about. And so
Yeah.
it's for us, it's about the people. We want to have we want you to have wonderful, amazing beer, but realize that it's who you're sharing that beer with that makes it infinitely better.
Yes.
I'm down with that, fellas.
So am I, man. Like I mean, I don't know how you put that in a mission statement or something, but that's what it is.
Yeah,
I mean, really, right?
Right.
I mean, that's fantastic.
Share great beer with great people, man.
Yeah,
That's
because
what it's about.
I think, and that's something that we started this whole thing with the pod. Oh, you can hand it. Yeah, it's fine. No, see, look at this. Another one. This is a jam session beer for all of you. You can get it. It's on tap right now at False Idol here in North Richland Hills. If you're listening on the podcast, swing by and try it on tap. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that we're finding out with the process that we're doing. And, we're just a month into doing this podcast. And one of the things with me especially is patience and the almost trial and error part of it, where, like sitting down with you guys, for those that don't know, we actually were here like a month ago and the audio just didn't work. And that's why we invested in this equipment. I was like, we can't ever do this again. Like this, I'm not putting my name behind the way it sounded. I was like, it's just inexcusable to me. So we've got to upgrade and invest. But that was trial and error. Like we didn't know, because that was at the very beginning. Yeah. And there's some other things that we have done throughout this process, that we're learning, people that we talk to that we think, and I'm sure you ran into this too, like people that we thought might come through or whatever that don't necessarily. And then you realize, okay, maybe I need a little bit more firm or stand up more, say, no, it is okay to be like, look, dude, it's either this or that. I'm sorry. There's just no middle ground because you're trying to build something.
I think you learn who's hungry and who's not. Like I knew that quick, like you knew who was going to do the things they said they were going to do and who wasn't. And so you took those people that were with you and the people that aren't, they're not with you anymore. And
that makes sense.
You learn that. And then obviously like, oh yeah, I can do all this and that. And then they come and show you and they're like, it's not that good. But you got to be honest or else you're stuck with a bad product or something.
Yeah. And I think, it's interesting too, because we'll let this pass so you guys can hear us. Go get them, boys. That's the worst when you're stuck when you're behind an ambulance, at night and they have the light on and you see the guy just kind of like shrug his shoulders and you're like, oh no.
This is really good.
It is.
You didn't try this.
No, Jacob, our buddy Jacob, who we've both known for a long time, works for a liquor distributor, and he brought in some Maker's Mark, and you guys are sipping on that. I was like, man, I can't.
It's like liquid fire.
I can't jump to liquor today. I'm a beer guy almost 100% of the time. If I'm at home, I'll drink liquor, but I rarely drink liquor when I'm out. It just hits me in a different way.
Smart guy.
Sometimes. So at what point do you go, because like you were saying, okay, we're going to call it Alliance Brew Pub, and then eventually it winds up we're going to buy what, and I don't know for sure what this used to be. I'm assuming it used to be like an auto shop. Yeah,
auto body shop.
Because you have the doors that raise up. So at what point do you find this property and say, okay, this is it?
All right. Well, I mean, there are a lot of things. So like he was saying, we looked in Alliance. We felt it was too big of a leap of faith, and like we not leap of faith, but just an unwise business decision to pay for $40 to $50 a square foot there, like they wanted, and so it just didn't financially. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and so we looked in Dallas and parts of there, and wasn't much different. And one of the things about this area is, at the time, there was essentially like a kind of like a dry dock area as far as breweries are concerned. We're not the closest to everybody, but we're not the furthest because we're, 25 minutes from Dallas, 25 minutes from where I live in North Fort Worth. We can 15 minutes from downtown Fort Worth. Yeah. Where, we're right off a major highway and right off a 4-lane. It's really easy to get to, and it just for this place it made sense for our future. We have some negotiations in our contract that make it very like prime spot for this specific spot
for you guys.
And so it allowed us to hit the ground running and not be really. I mean, we negotiated for a certain amount of free rent. We negotiated, in different things. And if we hadn't done that, it might have been a different story. But it's not. But we are always going to make it work. But it's everything's a piece of the pie. We have got to look at everything. So this place was us, and we've had to make it work, even despite the little obstacles that our municipality likes to throw our way.
Right.
But that's the way small business is. You just got to pivot, make it work, find a way to make it work, and we've done that. And so
I think the biggest thing too is like now since COVID happened, is you see the businesses that I want to say they're stupid, but like if you have $20,000 rent and you're like doing well at a certain period of time, and then COVID happens, and then you're screwed.
Yeah, you have no choice.
If you didn't set yourself up for success for all walks, like essentially all environmental situations that you can't control.
Yeah.
And so we're in a good spot. Our rent's really low. And then like I'm talking about the city, that it's weird. They're like Jekyll and Hyde. There is a half of the city that loves us. And they're awesome. They're the reason we're here. They actually took us on a tour.
Yeah.
They showed us this place. It wasn't even our first choice. This was probably our second or third choice. I think.
Really? Huh.
But it was the cheapest. It was the cheapest choice.
Well, that helps.
With like size and parking lot. Like
Well,
it just made
for all
no sense.
inclusive, yeah.
It was my first. It was.
We knew it was going to take a lot of work.
Yeah, it was going to take a lot of work, but the fact that we can own it is.
He had a
Which is
vision.
pretty awesome.
Is a big deal.
He had a vision for the interior. I'd say he had a big part. Like I mean, pretty much 100% of the part of what the place looks the way it is in here because of him. He put it together with the architect.
Looks pretty damn good, man.
How come?
We had a different role. But I was worried about getting the loan, TTB, TABC, certain things, and I was like, all right, you do this. And we kind of split. We try to. Everyone has to have a job, and that's something that I don't know if we mention it, but Bill Belichick says this all the time. He's like, do your job.
Yep.
Everyone has a role.
Yeah,
I say that all the time.
Yeah, we talked.
I agree.
We talked a little bit like have the best guy at A, best guy at B, best guy at C, and
Why'd
just
you pick this
divide
look?
and conquer. This look?
It's Cowboys.
Do what?
We're not getting into Cowboys talk. We'll just get in a fight.
No, so you know what? This
It'll be a dad fight.
keep going with the look, and then I'll tell the funny story of how it's ironic that we picked the Cowboys.
right. So as far as the look, I really wanted something. I really like the industrial look, but I also wanted to bring in wood to like give it a little bit of like warmth, and so I think what I wanted to really go for is an inviting space that's not a really grungy, like for all of the like for potential people who have never been in a brewery before, don't know what like a lot of breweries look like. I wanted something clean, wanted something nice, like inviting to sit down, but at the same time, it goes really well with all of our tanks and all of our production equipment, and so everything kind of is a little cohesive and tied together, and so and we've done different things. We've had to, built the tables, built the countertops.
It's nice. I mean, this is a great tap room.
It's
like a really
Thanks,
nice. It is for real. Seriously,
That looks good.
Yeah,
Appreciate
Brandon
it.
and
We're proud of
Juan
it,
put
man.
together pretty much every table outside of the. Actually, Juan had pretty much his hand on everything that was put together in here. Brandon and Juan put together the inside tables. Juan and I helped. We didn't have to do anything. They were already. We just had to like screw them together. The picnic tables. But yeah, we had to inch our way to get all the furniture, like the chairs and stuff, for sure.
I mean, I like these tables because they've got, I don't know what is this, a finish or a
Epoxy.
gloss or whatever.
epoxy.
Yeah, I mean they look nice. Every chair in here, and the inside has a back so you can lean, which I like. And then you have this cool area. It's not like a massive patio, but it looks big.
Yeah, I mean it's a 750 square foot patio. So
And you guys put the artificial graph on there, which I think is it's really cool. And I love the
better for
doors.
dogs, yeah.
I mean, we're sitting here, and those of you who are watching on YouTube obviously can see this. Those of you that will be listening to this on the podcast, because this was an auto body shop, you have these giant garage doors that you can open up. It's 75 degrees out right now. We're technically sitting inside, but we're right next to one of the open garage doors, and it's fantastic. I mean, this is great. I mean, we're not at the beach, but I mean, this is super relaxing.
Yeah, we ain't at the beach, but
No, I think this is a great, and this. I talk about this all the time with tap rooms because I know you guys have too.
On this
I've been to pretty much every tap room in North Texas, except for a couple that opened during the pandemic. And this is one of those to me, because you can go to tap rooms that are cold and uninviting. Without even talking to staff, like the moment you walk in, something's off.
Yeah.
And then you can walk into tap rooms, and they tend to be some of the ones that I visit more regularly, where just somehow there's the way it's set up, the way it's structured. And this is one of those to me that when you walk in here, it's clean, but there's a warmth to it. Like it's not cold.
Right.
You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like this has a good vibe when you walk in, that I think even if you don't know anybody in the beer industry and you've never been in here before and you're a craft beer newbie, that you can walk in and be like, okay, cool. Like I feel comfortable walking in here, like, excuse me, I drink whatever domestic light there is. And then people go, I got you. Because we know that. Sometimes you can walk into a place and you're like, I don't know if I feel out of place here.
Right.
Because the craft beer world, I'm not that snobby. Like I love helping new people find a beer. But there are people who are like, really? Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, so you don't really know craft beer, otherwise you help this person.
I too like helping newbies find beers.
I bet you do now. Oh, it's poured on myself.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I didn't know it was so full.
I broke it down for somebody the other day.
These murals are new.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one was
this
here.
chick with the full red lips, man.
No, the red lips was here. I was here 2 weeks, 10 days ago, whenever.
I'm looking at it
And
like,
it was here. That one is brand new.
It was just finished like 2 days ago.
I was going to say that was not here. Who did those? Because these murals are badass.
Same person.
And those are impressive.
So it's life is fire backwards.
Backwards, yeah.
I don't know how to.
That's cool. We'll just go life is fire in a mirror.
Aerosol fall art or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that wolf, man. I mean, one of them over here obviously you guys are listening to this. You can't see it. There's a giant wolf on a wall with what is that? Clouds or snow or some shit. I don't know. And then you've got this chain. I mean, that is badass.
So it's kind of like the comic book story of at least the depiction of Fenrir breaking out of the chains. But we kind of put a little twist to it because he has a ghost eye. And so it kind of goes with the ghost eye story.
The ghost eye Berliner, which is where that comes from. And the whole
that
thing
beer's
about
taking its own thing. And so that's going to be around for a while. And then the one back here is when we were talking about the concept, because this was her freestyle, I was like, you can do whatever you want. We originally were like, oh yeah, it's Lady Sif, or it's like a Lady Odin, but it's Eir, E-I-R.
Okay.
Who's essentially the protector. She's a goddess, a Norse goddess that basically can heal, and she's a protector. So they would take her on the battlefield, and she was kind of a Norn essentially. And they would say, okay, you can. She's like, I'm going to heal you, or I'm just going to let you die.
Yeah.
She had power to basically decide your life or death. And so she's our protector.
That's pretty badass, man. I was going to say, because that one with the lady, I wondered, that's the type of thing that's a tattoo, you know what I mean? That's like a part of a sleeve or whatever.
The circle thing is I'm going to blank. The elm, what's it called? Elmava, which is also a symbol of protection.
Okay.
Yeah. In Norse.
All right. Like Trojan or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
Magnum.
That's Trojan makes Magnum.
Oh, okay.
Well, at least I didn't say it.
You can tell the ones that actually have to use the Magnum.
He had a whole peanut butter and jelly time.
Yeah. God damn, you did.
Yeah.
You want another beer?
Nah, bro.
No, you can have
Oh,
another.
wow.
It's sort of the stack.
I'll start slapping the table. It'll get real interesting.
No, so I think, and I just want to address this on YouTube real quick, because we have some YouTube live guys, and we just decided to put this on YouTube live so people can go back and watch it later. But somebody goes, "Do you guys even talk sports anymore?" Obviously, you don't listen to the podcast, because again, the podcast. Here's what we do: the podcast is guys talking about sports, and I love craft beer. I love the craft beer community. I brought Jacques into it. I have a lot of very good friends in the craft beer world. So every week on Thursdays, we are at a local craft brewery. And then those of you that are listening to this on the podcast will hear this on Friday or whenever you listen to it. But if you listen to the podcast and you go download the podcast, our first conversation on there, we actually have 3 Cowboys conversations, a conversation about the Masters, and some other sports conversation we had today.
We did an hour and a half on sports before we came here.
But this is what I always find interesting is, and this happened on the radio, people will listen to you for 4 hours on the radio, and they tune in during the 15 minutes you're not talking sports. Like, I don't ever listen to you guys. You don't ever talk sports. Like, okay, so 85% of what we do is sports, but the 15% pisses you off. So if that's your problem, I don't know what there's your answer. That's just how I feel.
That's awesome.
I wish we could do that.
It happens from time to time.
No, but I mean, I'm not trying to be an ass. I'm just telling you how it is. I mean, reality of it is we talk about things we're interested in. I love the craft beer world. I think a lot of people are really into it. And on the podcast, you know, there's timestamps. If this isn't your thing, I'm not cool. That's fine with me. You can decide how you want to interpret it and jump in on it. But there are a lot of people that listen to us that are big craft beer fans, and we like to talk craft beer with them, and they like us talking craft beer. But I would encourage you, guy who asked the question, watch tomorrow.
What does our card say, fellas?
Yeah, I was going to ask because I couldn't remember our tagline.
What's our card say?
Jam session. Good people having great conversations about sports, craft beer, and life.
I mean, welcome to it, man. That's what's so great about this.
Yeah,
and again, we're not on ESPN anymore. We'll be on the ticket on Sunday and Monday filling in for Dan and Jake. But reality of it is,
D1
man,
for life.
Here's what, you want to know what we do? We do good conversation, which is why I like hanging out with beer people, because beer people have good conversation.
Yeah, which is different than a debate show like First Take or anything else.
No, because I think it's really interesting.
A hot take.
Well,
we need
God, we're not getting into your hot takes yet.
Stupid.
You can calm down.
So I need to make some atrocious Skip Bayless
No, but I think it's one of those things where I've always enjoyed really good conversation, and you can have great conversations about sports, about beer. There's a lot of different things in life you can have conversations.
Thank
on.
you.
You said more.
But I always, and you know this, and I've told you guys this before too, I always like talking to people, and a lot of people in the craft beer world are similar to me, to what I've been trying to do my whole life and what we're doing with the podcast, is people that have a dream, that wanted to do something on their own, like you guys talked about. It's not easy. You got to your ass off. You run into all kinds of obstacles along the way, or people that say, hey, man, maybe you shouldn't be doing, try something else where you can actually make real money. Mm-hmm. But you're so driven by something that the appeal to it. And I like to talk with those people, and a lot of people in the local craft beer world are that way. Even, to be fair, even the ones that have sold out that we don't have to name, we know who they are.
Hey, but
they started that way.
Right. But was it, is that your plan? Is that your goal? What are you trying to get out of it? Did you grow into a passion and it became so big, and honestly you had to do yeah, I have to do Blood and Honey again and again and again. Well, F it, I'll take 50 mil and I can go start my own, another thing that I can do whatever I want.
Shit, okay. Now they got there's Blood and Honey, the wheat beer, and I saw there's a billboard. There's another Blood and Honey blonde.
I don't know. Yeah, it's something weird.
Not even those guys. There's a bunch that have locally.
On that, it's just confusing now. I guess they're trying to.
But, I think it's one of those things where everybody starts with something, I'll tell you guys this.
Redundant.
And we can mention this now. We had
breaking news.
Well, obviously we were talking about it earlier, but we had a national podcast company approach us about buying the podcast, essentially.
Okay.
Nice.
And we looked at, leasing it, I should say.
Okay.
And we looked at it, and they sent us this long ass contract. We're looking at it, I was like, I'm not doing no. There's no way I'm agreeing to half the crap in this. I don't care. But I would say, and this is where I think this comes in, if they were going to say, we're going to give you $20 million, okay, then, that's life-changing, generational changing money.
Go buy a yacht, start a new podcast.
I think having creative control of what we do, and in a sense what you guys are doing, having control of that, it is, you're having success. People love what you guys are doing. I think that goes a long way.
I think the control thing is always good.
Oh, for sure.
Because then if you fail, it's on, if we fail, it's on us. We did it our way. It didn't work. So it is what it is.
And it's funny, too, because you're probably working more now. I mean, I don't know, full clip, you worked your ass off, but you're probably working more now than you ever have. That's not
life
work.
Of a small business.
Yeah, but you don't even, a lot of the times, I was telling him, because we wear so many different hats, you guys are talking about splitting up the responsibilities to start it, and that's what we've kind of done. He does certain things, I do certain things, trying to get this going and connecting with people and making it work and getting the word out that this is a thing that exists. Try us. We're not beer, but try us. Give us a listen, whatever. And you end up working more than we were. At least I have been. And sometimes I look around and go, man, I feel like I need to work today. It's I actually did. But I love doing. And when you're investing in yourself and in your passion, then the rewards that you reap, even if they seem small to other people, are really big. And you guys are doing that.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing you have to do as a small business and a team, you have to understand everyone's strengths and weaknesses. That's the hardest thing to do, because you have to realize your weaknesses and admit them.
Right.
So I think we've done a good job of that.
So I'm curious about this, the future of what you guys want to do, because I feel like a lot of breweries, and I wanted this question, and we know some of the breweries that have decided to become production breweries, and they bring in, not that you guys have space for 240s, you know, maybe you do outside, I don't know where you put them. But point being, do you feel like you've identified, like you're
this up and
right? Is
to
that
the fire, to
the
the fire
future,
line right there.
like the future of I want a can, I want to expand, I want to distribute, or is
we
it
get a canning line in January?
okay?
Um,
Because you guys know how difficult it is once you start packaging to get where you want to go.
I don't see us going into stores for package anytime soon.
yeah, that's not our first play.
So what is the first play?
I think
If you can share it.
in
I
terms
don't
of
wanna-
short-term milestones that I see for the business are 1,000 barrels in a year,
right?
$1 million revenue, which I mean I don't think we're far from that, honestly.
We're not. We'll hit. Well, I mean,
But these are just things
in
that
a,
like,
in a calendar year. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like if we were to extrapolate it, we will hit.
That's a
Um,
good goal for us.
what else? I know we have plans to basically. So we just added a 10-barrel fermenter and then these two 10s, which
Yep.
is weird because they look different, but these are the sour tanks.
Yep.
The barrel program is running next year. The plan is to basically have a consistent every month barrel program
Yep.
going from like June next year.
What's a barrel program?
Barrel aged stouts, barrel aged barley wines. So big ass beers to
Yep.
get you messed
Yeah,
up.
that'd be badass. So do you guys see yourself like? How do you? I guess I'm
So
wondering
when
because
you're saying, I know where you're going with this.
okay,
You're going with this like where after this, right?
yeah, because right now,
where
well,
after this,
like, how do you
Like,
see,
like,
how
how
do
do
you
we
view
go
yourself
forward?
right now? Because like anytime I go to a brewery that's like this, it's more localized. You know, do you view yourselves as a North Richland Hills community brewery? And I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. I mean, obviously, you're a Dallas, Fort Worth, North Texas.
I think
I mean,
that's
you're a destination brewery to me.
So the answer to that is multifaceted.
Right.
One, it's on us to really get engaged with our community, and that'll. COVID has really like
Yeah, I mean,
put
yeah,
a little
a normal circumstance. That's
strain
what I mean.
on that, as well as there's some things hopefully in upcoming in later December or January, as far as being able to have food trucks and pop-ups and being able to have food in here, but that will help change some things. We're doing some other things. We're working on stuff that eventually we'll have a super nice coffee machine in here. So that means all day you can start with your coffee and end with your beer and
Nice.
come in and hang out. So we definitely want to. The local community needs a little bit more help as far as brewery wise. Like,
Oh, yeah.
what's
I
a
imagine,
brewery?
yeah.
What is that? And that's something that we'll continue to work on. That takes time. As far as outside, we want to be a destination. We've got
I
things
think
to
you've
do.
got that.
We've got some things. We've got the beer. We've done the marketing. There's some other things that will. If you're not improving, then you're getting worse, in my opinion.
Right.
Right. So you always have to look at it. But as far as making this the best it can be, there's plenty of work to do there. After that, then it's other. It won't be stores.
Yeah, see,
It
because
won't
I
be
wonder.
stores.
we'll have the plan is to have a second location in
Yeah.
Dallas eventually.
Yes.
Fancy. God,
There
you
we
guys
go.
are fancy.
There we go.
Maybe I
So-
can work there part time.
So So that's our goal is to have a satellite rather than
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I wonder, like
Production,
you
so-
guys know, and for those that don't, this is one of the highest rated breweries in the state of Texas, obviously in Dallas Fort Worth. You guys are doing really, really good beer.
Top 3 brewery in DFW.
Yeah, and you guys, and you know that. And I think,
Yeah.
I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. Obviously, Turning Point is up there as well, in Celestial. And I wonder, because we can look at all the beers that we've ever wanted to try in breweries around the country that we'd all sit here and say, man, I want to go there or there. And,
Right.
and a lot of those breweries are the ones, part of that is because they're very difficult to get their beer. And so they become that destination brewery, which kind of inflates I don't know, I guess the mindset of, like, Russian River is a great example of that. Like, oh my God, like, I'd love to go to Russian
Funny's
River.
great.
Right? You fly into San Francisco, you rent a car, you drive out to Santa Rosa, and there you are.
Have you been? I've never been.
I never have. I have a
Oh.
buddy that went, you know, and
You make it sound so simple, but you haven't done it.
no, trust me. Well, we were going to go. The COVID threw a lot of wrenches in a lot of plans.
Yeah.
Like I try to do a beer trip once a year, sometimes twice, but it just depends. But I feel like you guys are on that map personally, you know, because here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, oh, yeah, these are great. These are really good. But as that expands, people start going, oh, shit, you know, we're in Dallas and this beer. So you fly into DFW, you're 15 minutes, if that, from DFW airport, from these people. And of course, obviously with Turning Point being right there, I feel like that raises the whole level of Dallas of being able to fly in. I don't have to drive an hour and a half to get to you. I can fly into a major airport probably for a good price, and I'm 10, 15 minutes from two of the highest rated breweries in the entire state.
I think that's why it helps that we're really good friends with them.
Yeah.
Like we actually
Absolutely.
have a collab on deck with them on Monday.
Yeah,
It's a
really?
sour pale ale.
Yeah.
So, and we actually have a collab with Turning Point or Celestial tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oak Age
So,
Lager.
you know,
of course, the brewers decided these ones.
Oh, I bet.
The Cerberus of
Lager.
DFW beer. So we've got a collab with Celestial and Turning
Now,
Point
look,
on Monday.
I will say this: Untapped is interesting. You know, all these websites everybody uses for beer, Bear Advocate, Untapped,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
You know, rate beer.
The Yelp of beer.
Right. You know, but and you got to take. If you know beer, you know. If you don't, then you look at it. Sometimes you're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Like for instance, and I'm not going to say what it is, but there's a brewery in East Texas that's the highest rated brewery in the state of Texas on Untapped. I've been to it, so you guys can go and experience.
You can
for
say
yourself.
it. What brewery is this?
I you know, they're
Is it
nice
True Vine?
people.
It's gotta be true.
It's no. It's
Lone Pint?
It's in Winsboro, Texas.
It's the highest rated brewery in Texas.
Yeah, if you go to Untapped,
How
and
many
search-
ratings they have?
A couple thousand. But I'll tell you this. But if you don't know Winsboro, this is true.
Wow.
This is true. If you don't know Winsboro, it's about 30 minutes south of Sulphur Springs, out in East Texas. I know Winsboro because my grandparents lived in Lake Quitman on the lake.
One in Sulphur Springs?
It's not backstory.
Not backstory?
No, I'm just go with it. All
I'm
right.
just going to have to look it up.
You go there, it's in the middle of nowhere, and I'll tell you, and look, they're nice people and their beer is solid, but
Yeah.
it's not, it shouldn't be in the top 10. And it's the highest rated brewery in Texas. Point being, you got to do a little research when you're looking at breweries sometimes, and you look at people.
Cypress Creek.
There you go. So Dom just wants to drop it out there. It's Cypress Creek. You know, and it's one of those things where I always wonder, because you either know beer or you don't. And once you do, like you guys do really good stuff as somebody that knows beer, and you guys know beer, obviously. Jacques is coming along. He knows that beer is really good. You know, this is really damn good beer, man.
I got a can of Return of the Stack in the fridge if you want one.
Yes, he
Man.
does.
Look at that smile. That means yes.
No, but I think you guys should be proud of what you've done and what you've built and where you're going. And that's why I was just curious to have, because we never talked about the future. And I wonder that because there's a couple of breweries in Dallas that I view that no matter what happens to the brewing industry or where it goes or Corona or whatever, that will survive because the quality of what they're doing is so high. And I think you guys are one of them.
I think, and I don't want to make this seem like a bad thing, but like if our beer is on the shelf at a local beer store, we're probably not doing so well. Like the reason, like we can sell enough beer in this place. Why sell it at another store?
See, and I think
in
there's
terms of beer to go, like package.
Right.
Like,
But I think
because
there's a
growler
difference, right?
stuff. Yeah.
There's a difference between a production brewery
Yeah.
and a brewery that's trying to do that artistic, creative, almost neighborhood type brewery that
Yeah,
we're going to brew what we want to brew. We don't care
It's
if we're on
way
a shelf.
different business models.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And I don't think there's
mean,
anything wrong with
You
the
need to
production
have
of it.
like you should have probably this whole space plus some just for the production brewery.
Oh, easily.
I mean,
Easily.
it's not even
Sure.
close. Like, I mean, like,
But we
we're-
all know the ones in Dallas that are production breweries, and
Yeah.
you can look at that. If you stack, honestly, you could blind taste them. If you do it, if you're producing for production, there's a difference between doing that and doing it for the love of beer in a creative way. And I think you guys are, you know, we know that. There's a few breweries that are doing that around Dallas. And
Yep.
those are the breweries people talk about a lot. So we're talking about you guys.
We definitely need more tanks.
If you think I'm talking about you, then I'm talking about you.
All right. Well, I know we took up a lot of y'all's time. I know I can talk to you guys forever. I know you got to go, Brandon. So sorry to hold you.
Hey, man,
he's
you
got
good?
that, so I think he's still talking.
You good?
All right. I just
good.
wanted to make sure. But, you know,
You know,
it's-
Well, see, then the question always becomes, even though I kind of know the answer, did you grow up wanting to be brewers? Because nobody grows up and says, "Hey, I want to be a
I
brewer."
mean, we're not brewers. I will
yeah,
never.
that's
I
right.
will-
That's right. I
I'll-
forgot.
I'll-
We've
I'll never
already
take
talked
that
about how
credit.
you ain't
I'll
no good at
admit
brewing.
that I'll be his cellarman every once in a while. Like
Fair
I'll
enough.
match in and
all right.
help do like other stuff that especially when when we were first going, you know,
You get up here at 5 a.m. mashing.
Well, yeah, when he was first learning, especially when he was first learning the brew house, it takes him a lot longer to get to know it. And so, you know, just doing the first couple of runs, I would be here, you know, 5, 6 in the morning to like help mash in and do that kind of stuff. And, you know, be here until end of beer to go when we were stopping to sell them. But now he's gotten it more down to the science. Now we've got a couple of people that are helping him out like 4 or 5 times a week for a couple hours. You know, and that's all part of a growing thing is like you transition to do what you can do at the time that you can make it happen. Right.
Right.
And so, no, I never grew up saying I wanted to be a brewer. I think, for me, I always knew I wanted to do my own thing. Like you said, I always felt like I put in 110% into anything I did for other people. And I always knew the return on that was not the same.
Yeah.
Like I could literally do my job half-ass and be the same as my colleagues, but, you know, and get away with it.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Like I could put in that like lack of effort, but that's not my jam. That's not how I roll, and I think that's when you're like that and you're wired like that, then I think it means that you can, you know, there are always learning experiences and you've got to get better. You constantly have to get better, but they're always learning things, learning curves.
We used to have a nickname for Brandon at Full Clip. He was the Bulldog. Because you knew, like, so Joey, our GM,
right.
He's a mentor for me business wise. He's
a
smart guy.
For sure.
He's just like, if you want to send a guy into an account and have him kick the door in and get you 3 taps, it's Brandon.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man. You know,
he was like the mayor of Fort Worth. It was pretty great.
It's all about relationships, man. You know, it's the relationships and it's doing what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when you get into that world, especially in beer, but in sales in general, man. Like when you show up, you know, and they're like, wow.
Well, that's the word. That's what I was about to say. That's the biggest thing in sales. Show up.
Well, it's funny how many times you'd go into a place and they'd be like, well, we've never seen anybody from y'all. Like, okay, like, well, I'm not just going to put you on. All right, I'll be here next week, same time. Like, we'll see. Then you show up, like, damn, really? Then you show up again next week. They're like, okay. And then probably about 3 or 4 weeks in,
leave me alone.
All
here.
right, yeah. They're like, what do you want?
Yeah.
Like, well, I'd like to go from 1 SKU to 2. Is that cool? I mean, really, I want 4, but if I can just get 2, then we'll call it a day. And like,
inches.
I can do that for you, man. You keep showing up, cool. I mean, that's really what it is.
This is hot.
You're
How'd
gonna
you
like.
drink that so fast?
I mean, these guys are alcoholics. Look at you guys.
Hey,
Jesus.
Hey,
Drinking whiskey and beer.
hey,
You go.
I'm very
recording
impressed.
this.
yeah.
At least we didn't talk about other things today. We're
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
PG
We're not
today.
taking that.
He's been super quiet.
he didn't
today.
cuss.
I don't think no cussing. I'm talking about
I'm just listening.
all kinds of things.
I'm a good
You
listener.
know, like
Yeah, man.
I said,
No,
Magnum.
I never told the story about the paint.
Yeah, I did.
Why the paint, the
oh,
color
the
coordination.
color paint. Yeah, right.
So you'd think it's him because he's the Cowboy fan. So I'm a Raider fan.
Silver and black.
Me and my dad, we're the
Every other color in this place is
GC's like, hey, what colors do you guys want? I'm like, he asked us, and we're just like, all right, this one and this one. The reason we picked the gray, it was like a Sherwin-Williams color of the year, paint of the year last year.
Yeah,
2 years
iron
ago.
ore. Yep.
What
No,
is it? Is this?
It's
Repose.
Repose.
Yeah.
No, it's not. That's the name of it.
Yeah, Repose
Okay,
gray.
I thought maybe it was agreeable gray, but
But it kind of looks white.
Yeah.
It's light. And so then we went with the blue, and then we walked in one day and we're like, man, did you know this is Cowboys colors? And me and my dad looked at each other like, mother. It was just weird.
Awesome.
That's when I
And he just was laughing at it.
I was just cracking up because so he texted me like I took a vacation literally the week before shutdown. I went to Colorado. I had this like booked like took my kids to Colorado and we went skiing and he texted me like I left my phone at the hotel or whatever, went skiing, comes back, he texts me, hey, what color do you want the walls painted? I get back, never mind. We painted them blue. we decided on blue. I was like, okay, all right. I was like, so I'm waiting to come back to see what like colors the.
Awesome.
And I walk in, I'm like, all right. We're putting a cowboy flag up in here or what?
I'll say
You
this.
should. It's
I'm
kinda
not going to
badass.
force Raiders on people. We understand where we are.
This isn't
Hey,
1983.
Viva
Yeah.
Los Vaqueros. baby.
Yeah, so we have Viva Los Vaqueros is actually coming back. So that's good. I can't wait till we get the label out. That's going to be crazy. We might get a
I love it.
C&D, but we're going to have a
Oh,
little
I can't
man
wait.
that runs the Cowboys on our label looking like Yosemite Sam going crazy. The big dome. It's going to be pretty fun. It's our Mexican lager. We were supposed to do a wolf hunter for Leighton,
Yeah,
but we never
talked
really
about
got to it. So I
Yeah,
was kind of thinking we should do something else with that, like an IPA or something.
I think so.
You should.
But I support
Like a
Dallas
Van-
sports
like
teams.
a
I'm a Raider fan, but I
Van
still support
Helsing,
them.
like
There you
but
go.
almost
All
like
right.
this.
I like that.
I like it. You could do like a red beer and call it Dax Ankle.
There's your sports.
Yeah,
From all the blood.
there's some sports.
Yeah,
how do you
there's some
how do you like them apples? There's some sports.
That's badass. All right, guys. Appreciate it, man, for real. Thanks for sitting down
Yeah.
again doing
Hey,
this.
it was always a pleasure.
It is.
Thanks, fellas.
It
Y'all
is.
come back.
Sir.
You're here.
Oh, I'll be back. You got to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I'll be back
I only
probably.
took the
very-
helicopter ride to get here today.
I come out here at least every 2 weeks.
I have to take the helicopter every day.
True that.
God.
True that.
All right, there they are. Our boys from Fall Sidle Brewing in North Richland Hills. Check them out. They're doing really, really great stuff. Great place, great beers. Appreciate it, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Clink.
Cheers to my empty glass.
That's
Oh, no, that is bad luck.
It is bad luck.
What's wrong with you?
I drank it. It was good.
Sweet. All right,
Thanks, fellas.
Whoa, that's hot. That is hot.